All right, everybody. Welcome to the Rob and Nick podcast here on the Zoom meeting with AA Real Estate Group and Complete Deal Flow System. We are super excited for this guest today. Pretty stoked. I talked to him a lot about his own story, and I know you guys want to hear it too. I'm super excited to introduce Kavon here. So I met Kavon through, is actually a colleague of all of ours, right? She's a life coach, Sherry Locke. But anyway, I'll let you tell your story, Kavon. You have one hell of a story. So Kavon, you have the floor, my man. Welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Nick, for the opportunity. And if Miss Sherry sees this, thank you too, Miss Sherry, for actually putting me in contact with Mr. Nick. So I just want to thank you for having me, and it's just awesome to be able to share my story on you guys' platform today.
Every time you say Mr., I do feel old. I got to tell you.
Well, I'll just call you Nick. That's just what Miss Sherry tells you the same thing too, so don't take it personal. But just to kind of give over of my background, how I got to this point is going through a Tony Robbins event called Date with Destiny. What led me to that point and making this transformation of my life to bring me to the point that I'm at now, to give you an overview of my history. I've been hustling in the streets since I was a teenager. I come from a middle-class family, myself and two brothers, with a single mom raising us, so it's tough raising three boys. I started hustling when I was 15. And then when I was 15, I went to juvenile for about 2 months and caught with a firearm.
When you say hustling, Kavon, you got to tell us folks what you meant. You want to what were you doing?
Selling drugs, selling marijuana. That's mainly was my whole hustle then. Selling marijuana, gambling, carrying a firearm. When I was 15, there was a firearm in a bulletproof vest that I had when I was 15 that I got caught with, and that put me in juvenile for about 2 months. After I get out of juvenile, I was always smart in school, but I used the hustling route to pursue to get money and everything. So I'm in school, I'm hustling, taking drugs to school, hustling, things of that nature. And when I was 18 is when I moved out of my mom's house, right when I graduated high school, which actually graduated early. I could have graduated a year early, but I wanted to at least go to school sometime for my senior year, so I just graduated a semester early. I went the first semester for half a day. So after I finished school, I stopped working and just started hustling full time, got my own place and everything. October 13th of 2012, I got shot in the head. I was involved in an incident, which led me to getting a shot, a bullet going in right here on this side and coming out on this side.
Wow.
That's when I was 18. And through that situation, I'm in a hospital, kind of just fast forward to the incident. I'm in a hospital, and I wake up and I'm in an intensive care unit, but I'm fine. I'm moving around. I don't want to say I woke up in an intensive care unit, because when I got shot, it didn't knock me out, or I didn't have the ambulance. It just knocked me down, and I got right back up and I was moving. I'm hopping in the car. I'm talking. I'm guiding myself to the hospital. I'm telling my friend how to take me to the hospital, how to get there and everything. So it wasn't where I was just don't remember the incident or just passed out and woke up in a hospital or anything like that. So I'm in the hospital and I'm in an intensive care unit, but I feel fine. And the doctors come and tell me that, surgeons come and tell me that I have a big shot, and that right now there's nothing wrong with me, but they want to have me in intensive care because they just can't believe that there's nothing wrong. So they had me in there just to monitor me. But I'm up moving around. I'm like, I'm hungry. Can I go down to the cafeteria? They're like, dude, like, you've been shot. You can't leave this room. And I'm like, okay. So I was in the hospital for about 5 days or so, and they had all the top surgeons from around Indiana come to look at me. They asked me if students from IU University that were interning, so they come and look at me just because they said that they've been top surgeons for 20 years and they never seen anything like that. They just couldn't believe that there was nothing wrong. The only damage that I had done to me was a fracture to my jaw. So I had to have my jaw wired shut for about a month and a half just to rebuild it and restructure my jaw. But that was it. There wasn't any life-threatening injuries or anything. So I'm completely grateful for that situation. I don't believe in luck. A lot of people say, "Oh, you're lucky, you're lucky." I don't believe in luck. I believe in blessings. So I was blessed, and it was just God's grace covering me, helped me make it through that situation. But at that time, I didn't really look at that. Being in the streets, like I was kind of telling Nick, it's kind of, it's not kind of the same, but just to kind of give you an idea, it's like, if Nick, and being in the real estate business, there might be times where you actually make a bad deal, buy a bad property, or you buy a property and it's more is wrong with it than what you thought. And you kind of just chalk up the loss. You're like, well, you know, I'm in this to win it. It's part of the hustle, and everything's not going to be perfect. I made a bad decision, or I have a bad house, and I have to just deal with the loss and move through it. It's part of the hustle in real estate. And that's kind of how I looked at being in the streets when I got shot. I didn't look at it like, well, this is, I need to stop being in the streets or anything. I just looked at it like it was just part of the game. It came with the hustle. I knew what I was getting myself into. So right when I get out the hospital, I'm right back in the streets. My mouth is wired shut, and I'm back hustling, back carrying a firearm, just getting right back to it how it was before, like nothing really happened. And I'm going to gas stations. It was in the middle of October, so since I have holes in my head, I have to have gauzes, like big gauze over my face, and big band-aids and stuff over my face, and I have to wrap my face with a scarf because if the cold gets to it, then I could have got pneumonia. So I have all this stuff on my face, my jaw, wires and stuff all in my mouth. And something simple like trying to walk into a gas station. I remember trying to walk into a gas station, and the attendant would see me and hurry up and push the button and lock the door because they think that I'm trying to rob the place because I have just all this stuff over my face and you can't really see me. So a lot of people would see me with just the stuff, and they're like, "Man, you're still out here in the streets." And I'm like, "Man, it's just part of the game." I didn't really look. I knew I was blessed, but I never really learned the degree to what I was blessed. So fast forward, I'm at the hospital, my mouth wire shut, and I'm just back in the streets. So that's when I was 18. Next year, when I was 19, that's when I caught my first case. Besides, I caught my first case as an adult, getting caught with a couple pounds of marijuana, around like $8,000 on me. And after that happened, that's when I was like, I kind of need to get away from it just a little. So I started going to school. I went off to school at Vincent University, but I still had a condo here in Indianapolis. So, and Vincent is about 2.5 hours away. So every weekend, right after my class splits out around noon on Friday, I'm right back here at my condo, back in Indianapolis, hustling. So it's kind of having like one foot in and one foot out. And when you're not fully committed to something, then it's never going to work. And it's never going to work in here. You want to be a successful realtor. You're like, you know what, I'm going to kind of do this and kind of not do it. It's like, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. I'm going to give it my all. I'm going to put my heart into it. And that just wasn't the case for me going to school. I was still coming back from the weekends hustling. And between 19 and 21, having that one foot in, one foot out approach, landed me to catch 3 more cases. Well, I caught 2 more cases in 2 different counties, all for getting caught with pounds of marijuana, getting caught with money. So now on probation. When I went to school, I was on probation for my first case, and now I'm out on bond in 2 other cases in 2 other counties. So I have 3 counties over my head altogether. And I'm here in Indianapolis, and I go to court, and they tell me I gotta go back to school and be on house arrest in school. This is like on a Monday, like on a Wednesday. So after court, my lawyer was like, "Listen, they wanted to send you to jail. I barely got them to let you go back to school and be on house arrest. But I want you." This was actually on Monday. He was like, "I want you to go to school like today or tomorrow." I was like, "Well, I got like a week. School doesn't start for like another week and a half." He's like, "I don't want anything to happen in between that time." I'm like, "Man, Brad, I'll be okay. Like nothing's gonna happen." 2 days before I'm supposed to be at school, I caught another case, getting caught with pounds of marijuana again, and getting caught with money again, but this time a firearm was involved. So now I find myself in jail with 4 different counties over my head, all for possession and dealing marijuana. but this time a firearm. I'm getting charged with a firearm, possession of a firearm by a felon, which when you already get caught with a firearm is bad in itself, but when you're already a convicted felon and you get caught with a firearm, that's just like times 10 the charge. So I have 4 counties over my head, all for marijuana, this time with a firearm. And now they're trying to give me up to just 10 years accumulated just for everything, because I wasn't dealing with my problems. I kept just bonding out and just leaving my problems on the back burner as if they were never there. But when you do that, then you see the problems start accumulating. So now when you have to deal with it, it's like trying to deal with 4 or 5 issues, and you could have just handled the first one instead of letting it build up. So now I'm in jail facing up to double digits, around 10 years and everything. And now reality is hit me, because there is no bonding out. There is no getting out of the situation. It's time to face all my mistakes. So I'm kind of just in jail, and I'm just kind of reflecting back on my life and just reflecting on like what really got me to that point and just my mindset. Because I always had a mindset that I know the streets is not where I wanted to be. I know I had way more potential than just being in the streets, but I was using the streets as a vehicle to get me as being a business owner, to get that money and everything. So yeah, I'm in jail reflecting, and I'm just I made a promise with God, and I told him that if you get me through this situation, that I wouldn't turn back. And I just had a feeling that if I got through that situation and I ever turned back, that there would be no more blessings over my life. So I was in jail 10 months. And at the last month, through like just pure grace and pure blessings, it should not have happened. But again, God was looking over me. They dropped the firearm charge, and I just got charged with the marijuana. So after about a year in jail, they let me out of jail and sentenced me to about 3 years on house arrest, 34 months on house arrest accumulated for all the counties. So I get out, I'm sentenced to 34 months, and I told God, like, okay, I'm done. And I just knew that was the end point for that chapter of my life. I knew if I ever went back to the streets, I wasn't going to make it out again. Either I was going to be sent to prison for the rest of my life, or I was going to end up dead, which both of them should have didn't happen. But since it didn't, I just kept thinking that there has to be a deeper meaning for my life. I'm looking on the news, and I'm seeing kids my age get killed every day, go to jail every day for things that I've done. And I'm just thinking, like, there has to be a deeper meaning. There has to be a reason that God kept saving me, and that there's a reason that I'm not sent to prison for the rest of my life. There's a reason that I'm not in the casket somewhere, which both of them could have easily, I've been faced with death and been faced with going to prison. So I've been up close and personal with both. It's not where it's a long shot or it could have happened. No, it's like, I should be there, but I'm not. So what's the meaning behind that? And I read a book called Man's Search for Meaning. It just talks about finding a deeper meaning for your life. And after reading that book, I just started reflecting back, like, what does this all mean? What's the deeper meaning for my life? And I've always been good with talking with people. I've always had a great personality, been very personable when interacting with people, communicating with people. So I just kind of had like a vision. And I like see myself on stage with like, I see myself on stage like facing a crowd of people. And when I had like that vision, it just gave me like goosebumps, like this is all starting to make sense now. When I got out, I went back to school. I went back to school to finish my degree. And in school, I remember there was a link on one of the courses for a video of Steve Jobs' commencement speech at Stanford. And the thing that stuck with me, he always said, just follow your heart and follow your intuition. Because somehow it already knows that you want to go. And don't live with the dogma of other people. Don't live with letting the other people's thoughts dictate where you want to go in your life. And like what a quote that I like the most is, when writing the story of your life, don't let somebody else hold the pen. So I was like, I'm not about to let anybody hold the pen, not my family, not the government trying to label me as a felon, not my mom just telling me to go to school. Because at the end of the day, I know that I kind of went back to school for 2 reasons to get off of house arrest and to keep me busy while on house arrest, because on house arrest you're only able to get out maybe 4 hours a month to do what you want to do. So if it's not school and if it's not work, then you can't leave the house. They'll give you 4 hours maybe to do what you want to do, and that's like driving time there, driving time back. So if you want to go to like Olive Garden or something, it takes 30 minutes to get there. You want to go see a movie, like you got to leave your house and be back. You only have 4 hours, or you will get violated and sent back to prison or to jail. And you're required to pay $14 a day when you first step out of jail, which is about $400 to $450 a month. So when I got out, I quickly got a job. Well, I'm not going to say quickly because I'm applying, and I'm like, I've only been charged with marijuana related charges. So I'm like, there's no way a job's just going to look at me and be like, oh, well, he got sentenced, he's a convicted felon for dealing marijuana, possession marijuana, he's a bad guy. But they're not looking at that it's marijuana, they're just looking at it's a drug related crime. So I'm getting turned down left and right for petty jobs, $10 an hour jobs, $11 an hour jobs. And but I started when I got out of jail, the only job I could get was through one of my mom's friends who had a cleaning service. So I would literally drive about 30, 40 minutes out just to clean a train for 3 hours, getting paid $12 an hour. So I'll drive 30 minutes just to make $36. So I'm on house arrest. I'm looking at videos and everything, and I come past Tony Robbins, and I just start fully immersing myself in him because the content that he had. So after just watching him and everything, I learned about the I Am Not Your Guru documentary on Netflix. So I watched it on Netflix, and I'm like, that was A Date with Destiny, a documentary of A Date with Destiny. And I see it, and I'm like, this is something that I have to go to. So I look it up, and it's not until this is at September, and it's not until December. So I'm like, okay, cool, I got time. So I'm like, I wonder how much it costs to go there. So I looked it up online, and it's $5,000 for the cheapest ticket. Not the most expensive, but the cheapest ticket. And I'm like, oh my God, I have no money. I have a job, but I'm like, I have to go there. So I instantly came up with a plan to go there. I had a Jordan collection from when I was hustling in the streets. I had about 40, 50 pair of Jordans saved up. So I instantly started selling those Jordans. I'm working 14-hour days, getting about 60, 70 hours of overtime every 2 weeks. And I'm just grinding, doing whatever it takes to come up with the money. And October 30th was the last day to buy the ticket for the $5,000, or it was going to go back up to $6,000. And October 31st. So on October 31st, like at 11:30 at night, I scrambled up the last couple of dollars. Like asking my buddy for like $40 or something to make the ends meet. And I came up with the $5,000 and spent all my money to purchase the ticket. But at this time, I'm still on house arrest. And I talked to my lawyer about getting off, but he was like, we're going to try, but there's definitely no guarantees. It's kind of a long shot because you got sentenced to 34 months. You only been on house arrest for 17 months at this time. So I still purchased the tickets, and I just had faith. I'm like, God, you know my heart. You know what I'm trying to do. You know that I've changed, I've given up. And you know that I'm on this right track now. So I just had faith that everything was going to work out. And my brother's calling me crazy. $5,000, I can motivate you. Give me $1,000, and I'll motivate you. Trying to go there for motivation and everything. My mom's calling me crazy, like, you spending $5,000 and you don't know if you'll be able to make it or not, and check to see if you can get a refund. I'm like, Ma, like, Tony's cool. He'll give you a refund if I can't make it. Like I actually know Tony or something. And I'm just having faith that everything is going to work out. So 2 weeks later, my lawyer, this was like mid-November, my lawyer applied to the judge to let me off of house arrest. And something that like never happens before, the judge he seen my file. He didn't even make me come in to court or to come in front of him to try to convince him or anything. He automatically seen my file and ordered them to let me off of house arrest the next morning. So my lawyer calls me at like 11 o'clock at night, like, dude, go down there first thing in the morning, you get off house arrest. And I'm at work, I'm just yelling. I left work. I took like PTO for the rest of the day. I was so excited, man. I got off of house arrest in the middle of November. So I got off of house arrest, and to make it even crazier, so I'm getting off of house arrest. They take the ankle bracelet off, and now I get put on probation for the rest of the 17 months. So I go down to the probation department. I watch a quick video, and the lady hands me a slip. She's like, "Here's a slip of your probation officer, the name, the number, and the date that you have to meet them." And I'm like, "Okay, cool." I look, and the date says December 4th. And that's the actual day that Date with Destiny, Tony Robbins' Date with Destiny started. So I'm looking at that. I'm like, is there any way I can reschedule this day or just change the day? Because I'm just making stuff up at this point. I'm like, my mom's going to be out of town. I don't have a car to get down here. Can I, like, change this date around? And she's like, I'm not the probation officer. That'll be up to them. But most likely they're not going to do it because you haven't met with them yet. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I go to the car, and I'm kind of bummed out. I'm like, God, you know my heart, like, just help me through this. I just spent $5,000. I'm off house arrest. I didn't come this far to not make it. So I'm getting in my car. I'm starting on my car, and I get a phone call. So, yeah, so you see the date says December the 4th at 1 p.m.
Yep.
So I get down there, and she calls me. She's like, you know that slip that I handed you? I'm like, yeah. There's a lady from the building, the probation department. She's like, is this Kavon? I'm like, yes, this is Phil. She said, as you look down at the slip, she said, that's not your name. She said, I gave you the wrong person's slip. And she's like, so do you have a pen and paper so I can tell you your date and time to give you the right date and time to meet your probation officer? So I'm like freaking out at this point. I'm like, cool, like, when do I meet him? And instead of December 4th when I'm supposed to be at Tony Robbins, it moved to like November 20th or something. So the date moved up, and I was able to make it to Tony Robbins. I spent my last getting there, and so yeah, that's what led me to this point. I made a post asking if there's anybody that knows anything about real estate that would be really willing to give me advice or guidance. That's when Miss Sherry reached out to me, and she was completely awesome. And she put me in contact with Mr. Nick.
Well, Kavon, it's not every day that we come across someone with a story like yours. So it's been pretty amazing. I'm getting notices that my connection's unstable, which is odd since I'm right here in the office. But Rob, take over in case something happens. But Kavon, as you know, so you're starting to get into real estate. Tony kind of motivated you back into the realm, and at this point, you know, your dream now, as you said, is to kind of get up on stage and help motivate others, right? Help people kind of move forward.
Yes, sir. That's definitely where my passion is.
That's awesome. How old are you?
23.
23 years old, man. You lived 2 lifetimes already.
Yes, sir.
What got you interested in the real estate world?
I've always been kind of interested in real estate. Even from when I was hustling, I'm like, okay, I'm a hustler, I'm going to save money, and I'm invested into real estate, start rehabbing, flipping houses. I like the hustling, and I like having to sit here and go find the deals. I like negotiating deals. Just the pure grind and just the aspect of however much you put into, that's what you're going to get out. And I know with my ambition, my determination, my drive, my level of grind, that me putting my effort into real estate, I know I'll reap the benefits. It kind of relates to, hustling in the streets is just, it's about how bad you want it and how hard you're willing to work to go get it. So I love that aspect of real estate. So that's where I was kind of in between real estate and e-commerce, but I didn't go with the e-commerce. I'm like, just sitting behind a computer, it's not me. I like meeting people, connecting with people, negotiating deals, just that pure grind and hustle aspect of it. And that's where I chose the vehicle of real estate to guide me as I'm building my speaking business, building my own brand.
That's awesome. Are you planning on setting up your firm in Indy? Is that where you're going to set up, or where are you thinking?
I really don't know. Like I just said, I kind of just nipped the iceberg of the real estate. So I don't know as far as like what's what good markets, or is there a better state? There's nothing here holding me to Indiana at all. So if there's like a better opportunity that comes past, I'm willing to move to pursue it. So I don't want to sit here and say I'm stuck in Indiana. Really, I would love to get out of Indiana. But if there's like opportunity here to build the business, then I'll definitely take advantage of it. But there's nowhere I'm just set at this point.
Does anyone have any questions for Kavon before we move into the final segment of our session?
Rob here. So yeah, I know a bunch of people in Indy. If you want some introductions, who are in the wholesaling space and doing that kind of stuff. So
that would be awesome.
And they're always looking for grinders, man. You need people who be boots on the ground and go out there, and you'll learn a lot. So that's certainly something we can work out.
Mr. Rob, that would be Rob. I don't want to call you Mr. I don't want you to think you're old too. But that would be amazing. That's kind of what I looked into, wholesaling. I've been to Dan Nero's class or a couple of courses, ordered a lot of different books and everything. John Schwab, I think is his name. There's a whole bunch of different books over real estate, so that would definitely be awesome.
So you came from a place where you literally, as you said, hustling the streets, right, with firearms and bulletproof vests, getting shot in the head, going in and out of prison, and you came out. You were like, God, I need just one shot here, man. I never go back to this life again. And you almost got that life, but then your probation officer almost took that away from you with Tony Robbins.
So close.
and through I guess literally a miracle, a crap load of other motivated people. And I'll tell you, we Kavon and I had talked a little bit before this podcast today, and some of you guys know Rob and I here in the Boston market, we specialize in deal flow. We specialize it's basically a method of how we find our deals, off-market deals, right? So it's kind of what we have a whole system based around. It's called the Complete Deal Flow System. It's all about business setup. How do I set up my business? What is important? What is not important? What do I need to focus on to kind of get that first 2-3 months up and running? Or if you're doing 4 or 5 deals now a year and you want to make sure you go to 15, how do we get it to turn it from a hobby into that business mode? And we're also that night launching our March 17th full all-day intensive workshop, which is an entire day devoted to getting your business set up and organized, to getting your marketing engines up and running, knowing how to call people, how to talk to people, how to set up your direct mailers if you're doing direct mailers, how to kind of get it all set up in an Excel format. We're going to touch on CRMs and kind of get it going. We're going to move into talking with sellers and negotiation on analyzing the deals for the numbers, how to properly analyze a deal to know if it's a deal or not, how to talk to the sellers, how to set up a site visit, how to determine what an exit strategy would be for that, what offers forms to use, what marketing pieces do we use to kind of get all this executed, and finally, how to get paid at the end of that deal, right? So how do you assign that contract? How do you do a back-to-back close? How do you if you're a wholesaler at the end of it, it's how do you get that trust assignment going? Hearing Kavon's story, it's really was inspiring to me, and I made him an offer, and I'm going to make him an offer publicly on this podcast. You don't have to take it now, though, Kavon, and there's no pressure whatsoever. We are launching. We haven't launched the event yet. The event's going to be launched on February 7th, but it's March 17th. It's here in the Boston area. So the event, the seats at the event were already half sold up, but the events at the event, we are selling for them because I feel like maybe other people feel, and Fortune Builders and Tony Robbins, that if people don't pay something, right, they don't feel a little bit of pain, they're going to value that at zero, right? So our value on a seat there is $450, but I want to bring you, if you're open to it, as my partner, as a partner rate. A partner rate there at the event is half price. It's $225. And I made him this offer, and I'm making it to you again today. If you can raise that $225, I will pay your flight and your hotel and come out here for Friday night and Saturday. And you can fly back on Sunday morning. You'll hang out with us for half the day Friday, all day Saturday, and then flying back out Sunday. So you don't have to make the decision now, but it's out there.
There's nothing to even think about, Mr. Nick. I'm not a busy man, so there's nothing to even think about. Yeah, consider that done. Oh man, that's completely awesome.
We're pretty excited to have you come and join us on that day. And whatever skills you learn that day, right? The bottom line is, I think you'll find you'll be surrounded by a really positive, super powerful network here in the Boston market. You can take those skills. We also want to extend to you the entire complete deal flow system, so you can bring that home back with you, and you'll be on our accountability calls with a lifetime subscription at that time. But
that's awesome.
We're super stoked to just start working with you. And if whether you decide to come up to Boston and work with us, or you want to hang out in Indy, we'll
go someplace warmer. Go someplace warmer.
Our goal is not necessarily to stay up here the rest of our lives either, as you can tell. So
thank you, Nick. Thank you, Rob, too. You guys are complete rock stars, and I'll be completely honored and beyond grateful, beyond appreciative to be able to come out and hang out with you guys and learn you guys' methods and everything. I watched you guys' videos and everything, and I love to come kick it with you guys.
Well, you're an inspiration to me, and I'm sure you're an inspiration to the guys watching this podcast. We're going to be taking this recording, kind of wrapping it up and sharing it across all platforms. And hopefully people can start hearing your story. How can they reach you, Kavon? What's the best ways to reach you? As far as Facebook, or what do you got going on?
On all social media, Facebook, Instagram. I just started a YouTube channel like 2 days ago, so check into that. It's just Kavon Massenburg, my first and last name, Kavon Massenburg. No abbreviations, no nothing in between. Just Kavon Massenburg for YouTube. Kavon Massenburg on Facebook, on Instagram, on Snapchat. Just on all social media and on YouTube. So I'm making weekly videos, just trying to tell my story, motivate, not trying, but actually tell my story, motivated, inspiring. And so just be on the lookout for all of that.
That's awesome. Absolutely. Kavon, thank you so much for your time today, my man. Really, really appreciate it.
No, thank you.
Rest of you guys, we'd love to see you if this February 7th, which is Wednesday at New England RIA at the Radisson Hotel. 6:30 networking, 7 o'clock is the program. And March 17th, mark your calendars. Looks like we'll have our guest from Indy there. Kavon will be there with us. And we're going to have an awesome all-day intensive workshop. The goal of the day is obviously to get people out of there knowing exactly what they need to do to set up their business and exactly what to do to start getting their marketing machine up and running and hunting for deals and getting those deals coming in the door. It's not a make money quick scheme, but if you follow the procedures in this system, you can make a deal happen on the first 30 days, more likely in your first 90 days. But the best part is after that 90 days, it keeps it's a deal flow system. They keep coming in. That's the whole point of this day. So mark your calendars. We'll be launching that on February 7th. And thank you all for joining us on the podcast today.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Awesome time. We'll see you guys later.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.